Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, I thought I drop one more for the series and drop one more for this just in general, just because I was having a lot of fun while I was making the last one, and I was just thinking of what would be um, a good thing to even start for my next one. And the thing that I wanted to start and get you guys familiar with is a little something I like to call Mob Cycle. Um, why you should watch Mob Cycle is pretty easy, but I'm going to give you some very interesting reasons why. Um, for the first off, Mob Psycho is just pretty much a kid who, um, unlike everybody else in his like class and stuff like that, they don't have psychic power. Like, not all of them have psychic powers, but it's not like it's a world where psychic powers is like non-existent and stuff like that. It's more like um, if you have psychic powers, you're looked at as a higher like being, a higher level entity type of deal. And that's because they even have like names for them called espers, and they pretty much just know if you run into one of those lockdown. Oh, I gotta hack something. Um, you pretty much just know if you're in a fight or something with someone like that. Um, you're gonna get like dropped pretty much, and because of that, um, it made it abundantly clear that those espers were something not. Oh, I messed up. Not to be tampered with, and because of that, it was clear that if you were one of those people, you were like, you could, have a lot of say in different stuff, and people just generally liked you in the sense of they knew you were powerful. They did not want to be in your way, and if you were in their way, you would probably die quickly. Like, they just aren't people you should be messing with. And because of that, it was really fun just to see how these types of like humans interact. And one of the humans that interact with Mob is kind of like someone who you just learn to live with, in a sense of he's not the best guy in the world because he's just like a con man. Like, he wants everything to go in his way, but you'll know why he does it. It almost seems like a poetic thing that he existed to, um, just be in Mob's life because of how the first season ends as a whole. And I think that enough I'm not going to give you like, I'm not going to be like, oh, the reason why in the end of the season this, I'm not going to go into super spoilers. I want you to watch it, and because of this, I'm not going to, like, there's some things if I told you it would just be redundant, like it. Oh God, I'm dying slowly. I just feel like you should watch these shows that if you like what I say about them, you can, and if you don't have to, type of deal. But with all that being said, that's pretty much the basis of it. It's a high school student who has powers that he pretty much can control as long as his whatchamacallit is steady, as long as his emotions. Anybody like messes with his emotional state, he usually attacks with the last emotion he feels when he reaches 100, which is why it's called Mob Psycho 100. Whenever reaching these states or reaching these levels of, just unbearing emotional weight, it always comes down to that and him just losing it. So, for instance, one fight he might feel hatred towards the person he is, hitting 100%. So, hatred is the power and the emotion that is being used only at 100 until it is fully out and like completely, left his body and used in a way of attacking or defensive. And we've even seen his ability for where he feels sad or he feels like he did something wrong. he could redo it when he hits 100. It's his power is at its pinnacle at 100, and anything around that will really kind of, suffer or be granted something from it. And I thought that was a really cool way of making this character. Not to mention, this character could live within the same universe as Saitama. There is an actual manga panel, and this is when I wish I had a computer just to like edit and throw it up there. But there's literally a manga panel where Mob and this girl he meets at school that he like tries to help her out at her club or whatever. You're gonna learn more about that because you're gonna watch it after this, huh? Yeah, yeah. Okay. So he's with a girl that he meets from school or that he knows from school, and they're just sitting on the bench, and she's looking for espers. I think in the issue that this like sketch came out, so they literally made the issue and sketch kind of um, surface around what was going on in the circle at the circle at the story at the time, which was really cool. Not to mention, it was also a good introduction to just people who probably never knew that they were in the same like continuity. Like you just see all of a sudden Mob starts freaking out and he's like super scared, and mind you, Mob knows like if his power goes off and goes to 100 like we know it can, he literally knows how destructive it can be. So for him to be scared of somebody still was pretty sketchy to me, in my opinion. Um, just to know that there's someone out there that can even scare this kid still, like just by seeing him and feeling him, and that person so happens to be our boy Saitama. So it totally makes sense, but it also kind of gives this weird way of Mob, which is his name, a way to sense people that he's never met Saitama supposedly, but I think he had a picture of Saitama, or no, Saitama had a issue of Mob Psycho manga in his house, so it's almost like if Saitama would have saw him, he would have been almost like starstruck because he's read Mob's like just his manga. So it's stuff like that that's really like cool that they even hit on, because I mean it's real that they literally pretty much live in the same universe. So there could be a spin-off of, or not a spin-off, but like maybe like a um, you know them meeting each other or something along those lines, just because of this. I mean, it's really not hard for someone, let's say like Marvel, to take a character that they own and then make that character meet another character that they want to meet. Unlike the Marvel Universe, where it takes a lot because of all the different people who have their hands in it, this is not the same case. The guy who made Saitama owns both characters, so I think that would be a really, really dope little wink at the fans, whoever might not have had a chance really to get into Mob, or if they got into Mob and we've been waiting so long for Saitama. It just sucks that we're still in this position where we don't even know if the show is even coming, like in the sense of this year or the next year, or, when is One Punch Man actually going to drop? The world may never know. But to be fair, Mob Psycho is a really good like part to be watching in this, because it kind of hits the same notes that oh man, I did not mean to do that. It kind of hits the same notes that One Punch Man hits, like in the sense of big battles, big baddies, all that good stuff. But at the same time, it's a kid who is going through just an emotional state, and it's a kid who wants to do better by himself. He wants to do better by not using his powers for bad. He wants to do better just by being able to control his abilities much better. And that's where the human guy kind of plays his role that we meet, that Mob is also like really close with. I always said his name wrong, so that's why I kind of just like refrain from saying names that I might butcher. But it's pretty much the main guy who has no psychic abilities, but he treats Mob as if he's, a a kid in middle school, you know, and that's definitely what Mob needed. But at the same time, Mob isn't like too keen on just picking out that this guy is conning him or that he's even, you know, using him for his psychic ability because this guy actually goes out and tries to fight psychic entities and like big big monsters. But the funny part is he really would never be able to do any of this if Mob wasn't there because there's just some spirits that even he should not be around, and because of that he knows it, and he still acts like he's like higher up. Oh, okay, I get it all. He still acts like he's higher up to Mob, but we all know that Mob's just like disgustingly high up, and he's like, sometimes, you know, Mob, I'll let you take it, and Mob can use a certain amount of power like without being angry or like without losing like control and stuff like that. So, um, am I supposed to not have my sword out? What the heck is going on? Um, Without him having his anger or like Luke going to 100%, his abilities are still like rather strong. Like anybody would want his power, and that's the other thing about this show is when you start to see what the bad guys were about, they were never about like, oh, I want to take that kid right there's power for my own and become stronger or something like that. It was never seemingly like that, so that's why it also felt kind of good. They were just like fighters, you know, like or they thought their Esper abilities were no match for anybody out there, you know, so they just hold their heads up high, and when they get bodied by someone that they didn't even know was like a kid in training pretty much. It makes it that much funnier for me when they learn the hard way that they just can't like compete with certain people. And I don't know, shows like that, I have a lot of respect for if they do them right. Because, for instance, Mob Psycho, Saitam, One Punch Man, like all of these shows have these like really huge tropes of everybody just kind of destroying everybody in the sense of, oh, this guy's way stronger, this guy's now he's stronger, this guy's strong, you know. So when it comes down to psychic abilities, this is like actual, you know, like crazy looking stuff that they can do, but it doesn't even like hold a candle to the actual just normal force and ability that One Punch Man can throw out, you know. So that's the other thing about Mob Psycho is it feels fun to see these battles. Um, it feels like whenever they actually get into a battle, there's a chance for either side to do something pretty dope. And you know, it's like it's not just it doesn't feel one-sided until Mob goes 100% or something like that. So I give it a lot more like flavor for. I mean, it's not called One Punch Man. Like I punch a guy and he dies, man. You know, it's like they actually can go and on beyond and make the battles look dope. So once you get throughout the first couple like episodes, you will see that they have in mind some relatively fun battle ideas when it comes down to psychic opponents and stuff. So that's one key reason. The other reason was, you know, like One Punch Man and all that stuff can and like Genos and all that stuff. All those guys can end up in this show if they really wanted to do a crossover. The guy who created both of them, so that's also really cool. Um, Not to mention, guys, we are pretty much I want to say like 2-3 months away from maybe getting season two. So not only is this show really worth watching in the sense of just season one alone, and if there wasn't a season two, I would still recommend it. But since there is a season two, you also don't want to be left behind. So this should be a why you need to watch if you want to get into season two. Okay, I gotta make a whole new series for you guys. Just kidding, but yeah, this is where. Oh, okay, I see a little tightrope. This is where I just kind of get my general like feels of certain animes is like, first of all, if it can even warrant a second season, it's already in a good position to, you know, like you should check it out a little bit at when they start getting second seasons. And if things from like certain reviewers or manga lovers and they're showing that stuff, there's always a good chance you get a lot more than what you expect with some of these shows. And because of that, I think Mob Psycho season 2 could give us a little bit of a sneak peek into some One Punch Man. I'm not 100% saying it's going to, but I'm not saying it couldn't. Like we literally saw Genos and Saitama walking around in that town, so it's not far from the truth to say, hey, these guys can literally bump into each other on accident, and we all know Saitama doesn't have the best of patience and might slap a kid, okay? He might just slap somebody for no reason. That's just how Saitama be getting down. And we also saw a psychic power user against Saitama in the first season of One Punch Man, and he pretty much was throwing pebbles at him, and he thought that that was just like a really lame parlor trick. So take that as you will when it comes to Mob. So I don't know if he would be just throwing pebbles at him. Maybe he made a character that's OP and then a character that's more relatable in the sense of just like personality as a high school student and stuff. So stuff like that makes me really think of where the story can go in the future. But I hope that you guys stay tuned on my channel, and I will definitely be doing reviews for Mob Psycho Season 2. So if you're excited for that and want to actually, be here when I review it for the first time and see it fresh, because I don't read manga as well as shows that I know are coming out. So for instance, One Punch Man, I stopped reading it because I thought Season 2 was coming out. But as of lately, I have been checking in on it, so that also kind of like sucks that it's been announced for season 2, but we just don't know when and how long. So hoping that it's sooner than later. And yeah, guys, I really, really hope you guys want to check out Mob Psycho. Not only should you check it out, for the fact that it's connected to a really wide universe that they wanted to attach it to each other and actually have more references of each other's universe in this show, which would be dope. But until then, we're still gonna be watching one of the more crazier animes you're gonna watch when it comes down to just raw power and just actual like comedy. So if you like comedy and a good fight, this show is perfect for you. Not only that, if you like animes that are hype and seemingly about to have long-lasting jeopardy, if this season 2 does as well as it's supposed to, I mean, season 1 was amazing, and they teased some good stuff for season 2 in Mob Psycho already, so I really don't see a way that this show should do bad in the sense of season 2 with so much backing up the hype that they've already given us. So with that, my anime people, let me know your opinions on Mob Psycho. Let some people know some more cool things if you actually know some things that I left out. I kind of wanted to keep it as simple as possible. I didn't want to get into certain key aspects that start happening later on in the show just because it kind of makes it that much fun for people to get teased into it. Like I have some of my friends that watch animes that I told them about stuff, and they still talk to me as if I'd never seen the anime. So I think that makes me the most happiest is when you guys can enjoy something that I really found enjoyable, and then you share your opinions with me to make me want to go back and watch it again. So sorry if this was a long-winded one. This is not scripted at all. I'm literally playing this game as I'm talking to you guys, and I came up with this idea today of as I am making this video. So I just happen to remember that Mob Psycho Season 2 is coming. I will be doing announcements on my channel. Like I'll do a quick announcement during like a review or something. I don't make a whole entire video on like a date or something. So if that's what you were expecting, sorry. But as soon as something as like a trailer comes out and I'm doing a review on something, I usually squeeze it in there at the very beginning, so I get the irrelevant part of my video out of the way that I really want to talk about and I'm hype about. But not only that, you get the video that I promise, and it's not clickbait. So with that, everybody, I hope you guys check out Mob Psycho. Give yourself some like something funny and awesome to watch with it, because not only was it like one of the more, dang, you see how tiny that gap is? That's so messed up. Um, not only is it hilarious, it really reminds me. Oh wow, I can't even touch the ground. It really reminds me of just why I got into anime. Like, anime sometimes is supposed to be goofy, and sometimes it's supposed to be taken very like seriously. Wow, that triggered the alarm. But with this show, it kind of does a mixture of both, and I love that aspect of it. So if you guys can find anything that you enjoy or that I left out of this video, like I said previously, please let them know in the comments down below. And I triggered this thing, and I think I just failed the mission. So with that, everybody, I hope to talk to you in my next video. Sorry, Wednesday is usually a very dead day for me, so I wanted to get something out for the channel and something out for you guys to at least nibble on until we get another review. But yeah, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for the support, and make sure to like and share the video so we can get some more people's opinion or just some more subs on the channel in general. With that, I am the Anime G, and I will talk to you guys in the next time. In the next one. Alright, peace.